So, this week in music, we have some new music updates, kind of, from two of the most evil bands in the world. Plus, Falling in Reverse, like I said in the big intro, is just kind of everywhere right now. So, we're gonna jump into that, plus a little bit of new music and such. So, let's do that, shall we? Welcome, nerds, to this week's edition of the music news. This is just a section, one section of six, count them, six other sections that we do over on the main channel in a show I like to call Week in Nerddom, where we talk about all of the nerdy things. You can find a link to that show down in the description or at the end of this video. Now let's talk about new music, touring information, and other generally interesting things to do with the music news. You thought I was going to say generally nerdy, didn't you? We have follow-ups and corrections to kick things off in the music section. We have two, actually, follow-ups. First up is Slayer. We've talked about the fact that they have done a couple of reunion shows-ish. I don't know if it really qualifies because it's only been like 5 years since they, put their hats up or whatever. But we do have word officially from Kerry King at this point saying that there will not be any new music nor any full-blown tours from the band. They are still technically retired and they're going to stay that way for the foreseeable future. So Kerry King's focusing all of his creative endeavors into his solo project now, and the Slayer stuff is just going to kind of happen as it happens. No real plan to set forward there. So that's something, I guess. And then we got an update from Cradle of Filth in the studio at this point, finishing up the recording process for their next record, which is kind of crazy because they just put out a record not that long ago, though that was a live album. This is going to be a proper studio recording record. There were 2 studio tracks on the live album, but that's a whole other ball of wax we've already talked about. And kind of a weird potential situation going on. The Ed Sheeran track that we've been lightly keeping tabs on that still has not seen the light of day is potentially going to be a bonus track of some sort for the next Cradle of Filth record. So everything is still in motion. Danny Filth says that their target release date for the new record is March of next year. That's not an exact, there's no button on that one just yet, but that is what they're shooting for. Being as they've been in the studio for some time, especially considering the Ed Sheeran situation, that seems like a reasonable goal, I would say. Now, let's talk about the new music that has come out this past week. I think all of this is legitimately from the last week, it would seem, even though it's been a couple of weeks since we've done a proper pre-recorded episode. First on the ballot is All That Remains has released their first new track in approximately 6 years. It is called Divine, and is that not the perfect title for such a song? This is the first new music that we are hearing from All That Remains with their new drummer, who used to play in Signs of the Swarm, I think, plus Jason Richardson on lead guitar, filling in for the lost Ollie. I can't remember Ollie's last name and I apologize, but Jason Richardson is some kind of beast when it comes to this kind of stuff, and just an incredible addition to this incredible band. Metalcore is cool again, maybe? Either way, All That Remains is cool again. If you haven't heard Divine, by God, you should go listen to it now. Next up on the list is a band called Vended. We've talked about them a number of times on the channel. They are the offspring of Corey Taylor and Sean Clown from Slipknot, both of them, and they're in a band together. They make music that sounds similar to their father's music, but has a little bit more of a modern edge, tone, something. Previously, when we talked about this band, it's been nothing but good stuff. Like, they progressively have been getting better. But with the last 2 releases, this one very specifically, I've been getting this feeling of something is missing. Be that they got a little too big too quickly and they didn't really pay their dues and kind of cut their teeth like most other bands, or I don't know exactly what it is, but it just feels like there is something missing here. They're doing all the things right even, arguably, but just, I don't know, there's some of the behind the scenes, I think, is what's missing, that the soul feels a little plasticky. The new track is Nihilism. Go check it out, form your own opinion, come back and tell me I'm wrong, whatever, but let's have that conversation, because I feel like there is definitely something not there. Our next piece of new music is the first of 3 times we are going to be talking about Falling in Reverse. They have released a new song called Ronald. It is featuring Tech9 and Alex Terrible from Slaughter to Prevail, which is kind of a crazy combination of people, just a crazy combination in general, and throw it on top of a Falling in Reverse song, and you've got a very interesting combination of music right here, my friend. I'm not generally a Falling in Reverse fan. Has nothing really to do with Ronnie Radke. Honestly, I think Ronnie Radke personally is one thing and professionally is a completely different thing, but just never been my bag. This song, however, and the last couple of tracks that they have released have started to change my mind. I'm really coming around to Falling in Reverse, and this song I think is the one that's gonna put the bow on it for me. Definitely go check out Ronald. It is a banging new track. Then let's talk about the new POD track called I Got That. This is, if you have been listening to POD since before Satellite, since before Youth of a Nation, and I think Satellite was a big one off of that record, and It Feels So Alive. I can't remember the name of that track. Either way, if you've been listening to them since Southtown, their first record, the first label record anyway, this is the POD that you fell in love with. This is them getting definitely back to something that resembles. It's not the exact same sound that we got on Southtown, but it is much more similar to that than we've gotten from them in the recent past. So absolutely go check out I Got That from POD. It's pretty fun. Our next track in new music comes from Atreyu. Their new track is called Insomnia. It comes from The Beautiful Dark of Life, which I'm pretty sure this is the first single that they've released from the full-length EP. The previous singles have been from the full-length LP. Previous singles have been from the EPs that they've been releasing leading up to The Beautiful Dark of Life, which is the name of this record. I still am not 100% sure how I feel about this new direction for the band. The Brandon-centric vocals just feel like half of the equation. Like, Mark does what he can to kind of scratch the itch for the aggressive side of the vocals, and every now and then Brandon dips his toes into that pool as well, but it's just never going to be The Curse or Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses. It's just never gonna have that kind of raw edge. Lead Sails Paper Anchor even had a little bit more of an edge to it than this. So is it good? Absolutely. Brandon has amazing vocals. Is it the Atreyu I want it to be? I think Dead Icarus might take that cake. And then our final piece of new music this week comes from a band called Fuming Mouth. Name of this track is Daylight Again. It is a lyric video that they have released for it, not a proper music video, but I don't know, this is the kind of hardcore that I really got into when I was really into hardcore. It's got that kind of more dark, kind of a metal edge to it, but not quite thrashy like some of the other hardcore, like say Throwdown or something along those lines. This is just brutal and heavy. You can't even call it deathcore because it's not that technical. It's just bludgeoning you with a concrete brick heavy, and I really dig it. I really dig it. Fuming Mouth has an incredible career ahead of them in the hardcore scene, and I am here for all of it.
Why do I get the impression you forgot to push the subscribe button? I mean, it's free, so go ahead and do that, and, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks. We'll get back to the show now. Okay, bye.
Now let's kick into some tours and festivals that have been announced in the last week approximately. We did touch on the music section in the live episode last week. Matter of fact, the live episode last week was pretty exclusively music, though we veered off into AI music there for a little bit. So let's get into tours and festivals. First one is Coal Chamber has announced a new tour called Fiend for the Fans Tour 2024. Support is coming from Fear Factory, Twizted, Wednesday 13, and Black Satellite. It should be noted that the Wednesday 13 stuff is being billed as Wednesday 13 performing Murderdolls music. So it's going to be music from the 2 Murderdolls records that he made with Joey Jordison before Joey passed away untimely a few years back. back. Joey Jordison, obviously drummer for Slipknot and guitar player once in the Murderdolls. So yeah, pretty freaking awesome. The tour starts August 23rd in Las Vegas, Nevada, runs through September 29th in Denver, Colorado. Though it should be noted, I did catch a couple of discrepancies, very notably the Denver date. The venue has it listed as a different date than the tour promo material is. So whenever tickets go on sale, which I believe is today, then hopefully they will have that ironed out. But yeah, there was a little bit of an issue with at least that one date, potentially others as well. If you are looking for pre-sale, because once it starts on the 10th. So what's today? The 8th. That's the 10th is when it's supposed to go on sale. Though again, things are kind of up in the air with this one. There is a link down in the description that will take you to the pre-sale, because there was not yet a pre-sale link available when I was doing the research for today's episode. If it is live, I will try and remember to change that link. Otherwise, the link that exists will get you there. Just going to take a little bit more work, and it will get you a pre-sale certificate, or a password rather, so you can get into the pre-sale with no problem. So our next tour has to do with Falling in Reverse. Like I said, we have 3 times that we're going to be talking about this band. This is number 2. This is the Popular Mons Tour Leg 2. This one is going to have support from Black Veil Brides, Dance Gavin Dance, and Tech 9 on some select dates. I think there was like 3 dates that have Tech 9 on them. So presumably they'll be able to do the new track that we just talked about, Ronald, live, because I don't know that although Ronnie Radke's ego is big enough that he'll probably do it without Tech being there. But if you do happen to catch it on a night that Tech is there, then it's going to be that much better. I don't know that they will ever have Alex and Tech 9 on the stage with Ronnie at the same time to do it proper, but one can only hope, right? So this tour kicks off, or this leg of the tour rather, kicks off August 18th in Nampa, Indiana. Runs through September 26th in Los Angeles. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. So as I am recording this, it is tomorrow, May 9th. And again, link down in the description will take you to a page that should have a link to the pre-sale tickets plus a pre-sale access password. If I can remember, I will try and change that one as well. But otherwise, that is the best way to do it. Our next tour is Mushroomhead. It is about that time that they make the announcement for their annual Halloween tour. Not saying that every show on this tour is going to be Halloween themed, though the last show, potentially the last 2 shows, because usually they book 2 dates in Cleveland. It's not that way just yet, but that's the Halloween show. They're going to go full on, do some of the old school stuff and probably some crazy new masks specifically for Halloween that they usually then auction off after the fact. But support on this one has my mind melting a little bit and driving me a little bit crazy that they have not announced a date that is near me just yet. But support is from Upon a Burning Body, There Is No Us, and Mind Incision. The tour starts October 4th in Buffalo, New York, runs through October 26th, like I said, in Cleveland, Ohio. It is a hometown show. Very likely there will be another show attached at the end of this tour in Cleveland, because usually they do at least 2. I think 2 years ago they did 3 Cleveland shows. So yeah, it will not surprise me if that happens. And if it does, you can come back here. We'll talk about it in the update, or the follow-ups section. But until then, that's what we got for tours and festivals. From there, let's jump into some regular ass news. Only one thing in regular news this week, and that is our 3rd piece of Falling in Reverse news. So new record coming out called Popular Monster. It's, I mean, kind of inevitable. They released the song called Popular Monster. They started the Popular Mons tour last year. They're on leg 2 now, we just talked about in the tour section. The record is set for release on July 26th. It's going to be on Epitaph. Crazy enough, they already have, I think it's 4 singles off of this record that have gone at least gold in the States, at the very least. One of them is multiple times platinum certified. So the title track, the Popular Monster, which is the platinum record, or the platinum single, and then Zombified, Voices in My Head, and Watching the World Burn, those 3 are all certified gold. So that is insane to be launching a record that has already 4 times received that kind of acknowledgement. That's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, and that's July 26th, once again, is the release date. Once it launches, we'll probably be talking about it here. That's what we got for regular ass news. So let's jump into music suggestion this week. It's gonna be a little bit of a different suggestion just because it's, you know, springtime, late spring. We're about to hit into summer, which means it is time to get out and see some live music. That is your suggestion for the week. Go catch a show, be it a big national touring act or just a couple of your buddies playing at a bar downtown. That is your suggestion this week. Get out and do some musicking, as Adam Neely and the people that he studies refer to it as. Go experience the music. Go become part of the experience of the music. Be in the crowd. Be up on stage even. That is the suggestion this week. It's a little bit of a cop-out. I will own up to that, but I just couldn't decide on the one specific great new music piece. There's a lot of awesome music coming out right now, so go experience some of that live. That is your suggestion for the week. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.